Hit it, sisters. I'm gonna cast a spell on you. Make you do what I want you to. Mix it up here in my little bowl. Say a few words and you'll lose control. I'm a hex girl and I'm gonna put a spell on you.
And welcome back, Corkies, to another episode of Crips and Corks. I'm your host, DJ, here with my co-host and America's Next Idol,
Paul, as usual. And shout out the Hex Girls. Get into the Hex Girls.
Well, since you're shouting them out, Paul, would you like to show the camera your shirt?
Yes, my brother got me this cool Hex Girl shirt for my birthday. Thank you to my brother. I love it. I had to wear it on the pod. We stand the Hex Girls on the pod. Get into the Hex Girls.
I do not have any fun shirts like that, so I am just wearing another.
I'm sure you could get like a fun shirt off Amazon for like $15.
I thought, well, when you told me you were going to wear that today, I thought about running to Spencer's and getting one of those, like, you know, the shirts, and it looks like the cover of the kids' books, and it's like, let's summon demons.
Yeah, I have a couple of those.
And I thought about, like, running and grabbing those, and I was like, I just don't have time, and we forgot to turn your light on that side.
Oh, wow. Our lighting, how unprofessional. All right, let there be a light.
Oh my god, that's such a difference.
Let there be a light. Now you can see my Hex Girl shirt better. Things are better in the studio.
That is on me because I should have noticed because Paul was standing in front of it practicing, and I was looking directly at the light, and I thought I need to remind him before we start to turn that light on.
It's fine. We'll get him next time, you know.
And then he pressed play, and I pressed record on the audio, and I was like, wait.
And here we are now.
Paul, how was your week?
My week was pretty good, but we do have to get a little serious for a moment, guys. We gotta really hone it in, bring it in, and get serious for a moment, okay? I have made a few comments in one of our June episodes that have really affected a lot of people in my life. It's affected a lot of people around me, and I really didn't realize the consequences of my actions until like this past week. And I just have to come on here and publicly say that Sports Clips is canceled. We're not going back. I went in there the other day. I should have known when that bitch gave me a 10-minute haircut. I walked in that bitch at 9:01 and left at 9:15. I should have known then. Listen, look at these sideburns. I said no sideburns. She took them like halfway up my goddamn forehead.
Wait, you have like a little bit of a sideburn here, like it's squared off.
Yeah.
And then she rounded this side higher. Oh shit.
She fucked me, okay?
Did you go this morning? I didn't notice that.
No, I went on Monday.
Oh.
So this has been what it's been, and I didn't want to say anything because I needed to surprise you with that good old open.
Yeah, I didn't even, until you said, well, good news, until you said something I did not notice.
Good. Also, after the haircut, when I got home, I looked in the mirror, I had my bangs down, and there's a bang like halfway down here. I had to cut my own bang. Sports Clips canceled. We're done.
Yes. Well, for those of you who don't know, I found a hairdresser a couple years ago who I loved. Mm-hmm. Like, we instantly clicked, like, friendship-wise, like, the conversation was just chef kiss. Mm-hmm. But, more than that, I could, like, be like, well, I kind of want, like, this, and, like, no picture, just sort of describe it. Mm-hmm. And she would be like, I know what you want. And she would do exactly what I needed, or I'd be like, I went to a friend's wedding when I had long blonde hair, and I was blonde, and so I scheduled like my color touch up for the day of the wedding, the morning, so that it was really fresh. And I said, could you style my hair for the wedding? She's like, oh my god, yeah, like I do it. And we go in, and she was like, what do you want? And I pulled up a picture of Grace Kelly. I said, I kind of want to look like Grace Kelly. And she was like, well, Grace's hair is much longer than yours, so I can't do this. And I was like, oh, no, you don't have to do this, just this inspiration.
Right.
And she was like, okay. And she managed to make my hair look like that picture, even though I was like 2 inches shorter than Grace Kelly's hair. Like, it was perfect.
That's a talent. Get into that.
But it only worked because she only cuts hair Monday through Friday. Mm-hmm. And I was working retail then, so, like, I would just take my day off during the week. But now that, like, I work an office job,
You can't.
so I'm trying to find one, and everyone I go to is awful.
Yeah, finding a good haircut person that isn't hella expensive is crazy in the city.
Even expensive ones. I went to an expensive one for my last haircut, and I showed her 3 pictures and a 360 video of somebody's haircut, which also had instructions.
Not the instructions.
Yeah, it was like you're going to ask for a 3 clip on the back and sides and an inch, like, in your hair for an inch and a half on top. And it was like a very feathery, choppy look. It's like, it was this model, and he was like, this is like a model haircut because you can make it messy, you can like swoop it back, you can do a side, like it can do whatever you want. I said, and I want this, and she was like, okay. And she kind of gave me like a bowl cut.
Oh.
Where it was like the straight.
Not the bowl cut.
It wasn't a bowl cut.
Not that.
She like did the back and the side short like I asked, but then like she just did like straight bangs across. None of the layers I asked for, and I like got in the car. Didn't put any product in. This is the first time I ever got a haircut where they didn't put product in my hair.
I don't think they ever do it like during the haircut for me. They always after. Yeah, after. I don't like getting that shit after. Leave me alone afterwards. I don't want any product in my hair when I'm leaving. I'll do it myself.
Well, no, I was coming to do the podcast, so I just assumed she would. So I didn't bring any product, and then I was just like kind of like trying to fix my hair all day.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
If I knew she was going to do it, I would have brought product with me so I could have styled my hair myself.
Right. Well, that's the tea on haircuts. Sports clips canceled. Moving on to Shawn Mendes. Shawn Mendes is in his folklore era, and I am here for it. I am down for this country vibe. His new song, Why, it's so good. It just brings me back to, like, home, like, being in the woods, and I am living for the Shawn Mendes, like, era of, like, just folklore. I love everyone getting into folklore and country music and everything. I mean, there is one thing that bothers me about Shawn Mendes. One thing that bothers me is, like, it's not what Shawn Mendes does that bothers me. It's, like, what everyone says about him. Like, the people who keep saying, like, oh, he's gay. Like, that, I don't know why it annoys me, but it fucking annoys me. Like, just leave him alone. If he was gonna come out, he's gonna come out. And if he's coming out, he's not coming for us trolls here in Pittsburgh, okay? If he's coming out, he's banging Troye Sivan. He's finger banging Zac Efron in the back of the Tequila Cowboy. He's not messing with us trolls, okay? So, and you know what? If he wants to stay in the closet, well, do I think he's gay? No. But I know DJ has a very different take.
I do not think he's gay. I hope he's gay. Specifically, I hope he's gay for me.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some times where, like, he'll do something and I'll just go like, that is very, like, stereotypically gay.
Right.
But we also live in a time and era where I have met straight men who are gayer than I am.
That's very true. There are some feminine straight guys out
Not
there.
Not even feminine.
What?
But
metrosexuals?
Metrosexuals, like men who take care of themselves, like who like invest in skincare or in like makeup or getting manicures and pedicures and what they wear. But that doesn't mean they're gay. And so I do think like Shawn Mendes is like a metrosexual.
Yes, very that.
But there's also, so like he's that. I think he is that. But there is that hope that he is gay specifically for me, but I also hope that Zac Efron is gay specifically for me.
Oh my god, Zac Efron.
Or Glenn Powell is gay specifically for me. And speaking of Glenn Powell, wait,
You skipped your own week,
I know I did.
This
Jesus
is your time to
Christ.
shine. And you skipped it.
I came up with the best transition there.
Right.
At the expense of talking about my week.
How was your week, DJ?
Well, I forgot about myself.
Oh, so you don't have anything to talk about?
No, I do.
Okay.
I want to talk about an issue that's not talked enough about in the world.
Oh.
And that is old people driving.
That's tea.
And Nanny, Pap, before you think I'm talking about you, for once I'm not talking about you. Mm-hmm. On my way over here, there's construction going on by your house.
Yeah.
And a 2-lane highway was down to 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the issue was there's a lot of stoplights. And one was red. And so for 3 or 4 blocks back, traffic was at a standstill because there's nowhere to go.
Right.
And I'm just sitting there minding my own business 3 blocks back. And this lady, this old woman, in a big red Jeep SUV behind me, and like she can hardly see over that steering wheel, honks at me because all she can see is like the light in front of us is green, and I'm just like,
bitch, you'd move if you could. What do you think?
I'm literally at a standstill in the middle of an intersection.
Right.
Like, there's nowhere for me to go.
What did she want? Yeah,
and
old people driving is spooky.
There was one saving grace. Mm-hmm. Her husband was in the passenger seat, and I like looked in the rearview mirror, and he's like shouting at her for doing it, and he's like
making the hand motions and everything.
Because,
like, what the fuck?
Because he's like, look at the cars in front of that car, and then like finally I get past it, and like she whips out from behind me, and I'm like, is this bitch really gonna pass me? Like, I'm going 40 and a 35 with all these crosswalks and shit. Is she really gonna pass me? And do you know what she was in such a rush for? The drive-through ATM.
Girl, she had to get her 20. She had bingo. She had to get to the fire hall.
Gotta fill the church envelope before we go to 4:30 Mass and go to the early bird special at Eden Park.
Bury that. And that's probably what it was, too. That's so funny. And you know what? Sorry, were you going to say something? I was just going to say, along those same lines, another group of people that shouldn't drive is gay people. Because gay people are the worst drivers. We're insane. We should have, like, a gay service.
You know, there are... But you know what? There are some good gay drivers. I feel very comfortable driving with you. I hope you feel comfortable when I'm driving. But I think we can say this because he doesn't listen to the podcast.
Mike?
No, I was going to say Dan. Mike is a wild driver, yes. But Dan, I literally fear for my life.
I do think it proves my point that we both said 2 different people that
who are both
gay. And we both have 2 people in mind that are bad drivers that are gay.
Riley is a great driver.
Maybe it's a top. Well, Dan's a top. So, not me outing people in the pod. Whoops, okay. Well, maybe we'll leave that in, maybe not.
And I'm a bottom, and I drive good. Well.
Yeah, So Glenn Powell.
Am I a bad driver, Paul?
No, you're not a bad driver. You're actually a good driver.
Thank you.
Now, speaking of drivers, do you want to drive us on through to... Oh, wait. Before we drive on through, one last thing before we get to Hot Guy of the Month. We did say in one of our previous episodes that we do ride and die for Brooke Schofield. And I would like to redact that statement very quick regarding the recent tweets that were leaked. We will be redacting that statement.
Yes.
Moving on. Unless you have something to say, but I think that's enough. We don't support anything that she said in those tweets. They were really awful. And...
I will say, I do feel awfully for what she went through with her ex. But that doesn't excuse a history and a pattern of saying some pretty best insensitive, at worst problematic, wrong, racist shit. And you actually sent me something where she liked one of those conservative white nationalist influencers, a picture with the big orange turd who's running for the Republican Party.
Another interesting thing that happened was that, she said she learned all about, one of her defenses was that she wrote about sensitive issues like that in college, and then a tweet surfaced of her saying, wow, my grades got so much better in college when I started writing my essays from a liberal point of view. So it was just like, girl, stop tweeting. Take away everyone's Twitter until they're like 25, girl, so they can like see the world and learn.
That's like canceled. Like, that's literally saying, I'm gonna fake being a liberal because I get more acceptance.
Exactly. It's crazy. So, statement redacted. Sorry, not sorry. Definitely not sorry.
If we could go back, we would take it out, but
here we are. Things live together forever.
Do you know what I would not take out?
What?
Glenn Powell's dick out of my ass.
Wow, okay. Gee,
sorry,
okay.
I had the good transition and you stepped all over it.
Wow, sorry about that one, Mom.
You were like...
And stepmom.
You were like...
And father. And brother. And everyone that listens to the pod.
We're on episode 40-something. If they have a problem with us talking about this now...
That's true. That first episode, we did come out strong.
The first 2 episodes. If you have a problem with any of this, we're 40 episodes in. We're not holding you hostage.
Right. You knew what...
You either enjoy this or you don't.
It's been that way from the beginning. You're very
yes.
right. So, Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell was... in high school, both a jock and a theater nerd.
Oh, okay. Oh, God. He was definitely that straight guy that everyone was fawning over in the theater department.
Yes, and actually, I have to read this. I copied this quote from the article where I read this.
Mm-hmm.
Like Troy Bolton in High School Musical, Powell pursued theater and sports as a child.
Okay, come on, High School Musical!
Anyways, in high school he played lacrosse, which is a very sexy sport, honestly.
I guess. I've never really seen people play lacrosse.
It's the one with the big sticks with the nets
yeah,
on the
I know
end.
what it is,
yeah,
but I've never really seen people play.
It's just one of those sports where you go, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Period.
Football and basketball. I don't think football and basketball either are very sexy, personally.
I don't think basketball is.
No.
Football.
Baseball. I think baseball's sexy.
Yeah, baseball's a sexy
But
sport.
I think it's sexy because of the pants.
Yeah, very that.
Soccer is sexy.
Yeah, soccer's fun.
Soccer is sexy. Diving is sexy. Sorry, this isn't about Tom Daly. But he also learned to tap dance and performed with the Broadway Texas Players, which is an award-winning performance troupe, from 1999 to 2003.
Now that's unattractive. Tap dancing is probably the most cringiest form of dancing.
I'm not gonna lie, I agree. And I say that as a theater person.
Yeah, tap dancing's kind of cringe.
Yeah, it's just there's something about like all I can picture is like little girls not little girls, little kids tap dancing to Tomorrow from Annie.
Yeah. Awkward.
And his first job in LA was being a football, lacrosse, and basketball coach for the son of a wealthy Bel Air family.
Okay.
He described it as, quote, I was kind of like a Manny. I lived in this amazing house. The family was amazing. They had a private chef. And all I had to do was coach the sports that I grew up playing.
Okay, that's
And
cool.
that's how he bankrolled living in LA to now become probably 2024's hottest actor.
Damn, working your way up. I'm here for working your way up.
He's got like 3 blockbuster movies out this summer.
Good for him. He is one of the it guys right now.
Honestly. And we talked about going to see Twisters later. It's recording.
Okay. Sorry, I get nervous.
I just trusted it. Anyways, before I say anything else embarrassing, well, Stone Cold Sober.
Why don't we drink?
Thank you.
So today we're drinking this fine wine. Again, my brother got me this wine for my birthday. The bottle is very pretty. There's the front and the back, very nice. So it's a Lapis Luna Cabernet Sauvignon. Okay, the back really doesn't say much, just that it's a 2021. from Lodi, California. And it says, the perfect time to start never arrives. I'm sure there's a deep meaning there, but I can't think of it right now, so I'm going to open the bottle. Not the wine condom. Okay, let me twist.
I hate it when you try to poke through the wine condom.
Girl, y'all need to poke through the wine condom. I think it adds flavor. Ooh, let me get it on.
Ooh.
That was a nice pop.
That was...
Oh my god, I got flashbacks. ASMR pour.
Viewers at home. Did you see that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Cheers.
Cheers. Ooh, that was a nice clink. Ooh, she's dry, sister. She is dry, sister. I like it though. Yeah. That's good. Now it's the
It has a nice what's the aftertaste called in wine?
It has a good afterbirth. That's an Office quote if he clocked that. Good for you. But no, I don't know what that's called. I just had to quote The Office. I think I quoted The Office last week too.
Did you?
Probably. But what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say you yelled at me for talking about Glenn Powell's dick up my ass, and you're talking about afterbirth over here.
Hey, I think afterbirth is a beautiful natural thing, and it should be enjoyed.
Did you know in some cultures it's common for the woman to eat the placenta for good luck?
I did know that, and you know what? This wine very much does remind me of that.
I'm so glad.
We love this placenta wine. Thank you, Jesse.
Not the placenta
wine. How did we get there? That's crazy about us. But
we're like equally unhinged this week.
I know, it's crazy, but I think
it's because we went out last night for once.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh, Living Brat Summer, bumping that. We're not bumping that. That's the lyric of the song. But I give this wine 4 grapes. Actually 3.5, because I know this is the type of wine that's going to give you a hangover, okay? So be careful if you're drinking this wine. This one's going to give you a hangover in the morning if you drink too much. Take a little aspirin beforehand, you'll be good to go, okay?
No, I don't think it would give you a hangover.
It'd give me one for sure.
See, sweeter wines give you more of a hangover from like the sugar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give this a 4.25 grapes.
4.25? Mm-hmm. Do you care to...
It is very good. It's actually growing on me the more I drink it.
Let me take another sip.
Yeah, hang on. I might change mine too.
I'm going to stick with 3.5.
I am going to add 1/4 of a grape.
4.5 grapes. Ooh.
4.5. It is, well, you know me and Cabernet Sauvignon. It is my favorite wine. And it is really, that first, I think we needed to let it breathe.
Really let it
Yeah.
aerate? Is that what they call it? Aerate?
Yeah, and because like that first taste was a little sour, but now it's like this beautiful, nice, clean, middle, rich taste.
That was a nice description.
Thank you.
But I've got a few descriptions for you today. DJ?
Do you have a story? Oh. I thought you were going to miss the gag.
No. DJ, let me tell you a story.
Yay.
Princesses, wizards, magic, dragons, and adventure. Well, except there's no dragons. But today, I bring you a tale from a faraway land. One about the triumphs, trials, and tribulations of a people desperate to keep their homeland from crumbling due to an evil curse. No, I'm not talking about a medieval castle. I'm talking about an Indian fort. A place so haunted, it is considered to be the most haunted place in all of India. Join me on this adventure as we explore the Bhangarh Fort, the most haunted place in all of India.
Ooh.
Spooky.
Coming from out of left field with that one.
I know. Thank you. Have you ever heard of the Bhangarh Fort?
A long time ago, yes.
Yeah, I find like I haven't seen too many other like paranormal podcasts cover this one. I know there are a few, but
Did Lore do an episode on it?
I don't know about lore.
Okay.
I don't know about them. I'll have to look into them, see, maybe. I don't know. But I know Let's Get Haunted did, and The Paranormal Life did, and I did listen to them to get some of my information, you know.
Not Wikipedia?
Not Wikipedia this time. I've been trying to be a little bit better about steering away from the good old WikiLeaks. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about this fort. So the fort was constructed in the 17th century by Raja Madhu Singh, the younger brother of the great Mongol general Man Singh of Amber. Sorry about that. I'm going to do my best to pronounce all of these Indian names this episode, and I apologize ahead of time.
Hang on.
Let me pull up the notes best.
And just help you.
Don't look at the end, yeah.
I wasn't going to look at the end. It's just, that was just like, that's a very common name over there, so that's something we have to get right.
Okay,
Sing.
Okay. So the fort is in the hills of Aravalis and is in between the cities of Jaipur and Alwar, and the fort is surrounded by wilderness and jungle. It's actually really pretty, so let me show you a quick picture of the fort, and then I'll show you a map, and this will be on the screen. You can see here, the fort is kind of like in the mountain.
Oh,
you can see
beautiful.
all the trees, it's like in the jungle, all that stuff. Again, if you're watching the YouTube, just take a gander on the screen, and if not, go on over to our Instagram to see all of these pictures. And here on the map, you can see Bhangarh Fort nestled right in between the two cities of Alwar and Jaipur. Jaipur, period. Get into Jaipur.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes.
I really hate to at you live on the podcast.
It wouldn't be
Do
the
you
first.
really only use one document in our Google Drive?
Yeah? What about it?
Because I tried to, the other week, when you were on, try to pull up the notes, and I couldn't find it.
About Goatman or who?
I can't remember what it was, and I was like, why can't I find this? And I even tried searching it.
That's because I delete my notes and I start anew.
Oh,
It's
I
like
leave all of them.
Oh, it's like a fresh slate for me. You gotta out with the old and in with the new, you know?
No, because in case we ever have to go back.
Oh, well, we'll get it later. It's
Okay.
fine. So something interesting about this, they call it a fort, but it's actually a town, and it had about 9,000 houses in it until it diminished after 1720.
Oh.
So, like, it was your basic town. It had, like, the town center with the market and everything. It had temples where they worshipped the Hindu gods. Of course, they had their palace and all that. So it was really just your basic city. Now, people say this fort is said to be a beautiful example of prime 17th century architecture. And as you can see from the picture, it is a really pretty
beautiful.
fort. I bet, like, when it was first built, it was probably gorgeous.
I
Like, comet
think
drop dead.
Indian architecture and Indian art is beautiful.
It really is.
It's gorgeous.
They have a beautiful culture. Girl. Actually, I'll say that later. But, so another thing about the fort is they really built it in mind for protection. So it had 3 successive fortifications, which is basically a reinforced wall. And it had 5 massive gates to protect it from invasion. So they were concerned about invasion. So keep that in mind for later, okay?
Yeah, because before, like, the 1800s, it wasn't like, India wasn't like one country. It was like a bunch of, like, little territories ruled by different princes and kings, right?
I didn't know that.
Okay, I think so.
I mean, that sounds right. I wouldn't doubt it. No.
Maharajas, I think.
Maharajas.
I think that's what they called their rulers. Maharajas.
Yeah, and one thing throughout this story, you'll see me using like English terms like prince, princess, because some of their terms don't like translate directly. So I'm using the English terms as I found them in the articles, because some of their terms, like they have different terms for their leaders and rulers and stuff. They don't really call them princesses and kings and stuff. That's just like the closest translation from like, I think it's Hindu they speak.
I think it's Hindustani.
Hindustani.
I think that's what
Get into that.
Let me check.
So yeah, just keep in mind the terms I'm using are just the best English translation terms, because researching this, I did find very quickly that all the information I was getting on this was translated from. You got the language?
Okay, so Hindustani is an Indo-Aryan language spoken in North India, Pakistan, and the Deccan. It is a lingua franca of the regions. I have another definition. It is a group of mutually intelligible languages and dialects spoken in northwestern India, principally Hindi and Urdu.
Okay, so it's one of those languages. Awesome. So, between the beautiful architecture, the beautiful surroundings, it's no surprises that this place attracts many tourists. But its beauty isn't the only thing that attracts tourists, of course. What else attracts tourists is all the ghost stories and all the hauntings and all the stories and folklore that surround this fort.
Ooh.
So, let's discuss why this place is so haunted and said to be cursed and why...
Cursed?
Yeah. And it's also...
You just try to slide that in there.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you why people say it's cursed, trust and believe, and I'm also going to tell you why people aren't allowed down to there past sunset. They don't let people in the fort past sunset. So, this first story is that of a sadhu, which is basically a holy person, or like an Indian version of a monk, named Baba Balu Nath. Before the king Madhu Singh decided to build this fort for his son, Baba Balu Nath would use the spot where the fort was for meditating, and he had his house close by. The king asked Baba Balu if he could build the fort there because Baba was a highly respected holy person, so the king wanted his permission. So, Baba Balu gave him permission as long as the shadow of the fort would never touch his house. And if the shadow were to touch his house, the whole town would be destroyed. Spooky. The king kept his promise. That is until Ajab Singh, the grandson of Madhu Singh, ignored his warnings. Sing. Sorry.
There's that silent H at the end, I know.
I know, it gets me every time. So basically, he ignored the warning and continued to build the fort higher. And then the shadow touched the holy man's house and the town was destroyed, leading it to become the ghost town that it is today.
What happened?
Oh, we're going to get into that. That's where that story ends.
Oh, okay.
But let me tell you this second story, which is also very interesting. So, the next story is the tale of Princess Ratnavati. Princess Ratnavati was said to be a very beautiful woman, and she had many suitors lined up for her, okay? She had lots of princes lined up. She was the belle of the ball. She was that doll. She was that diva.
Okay.
Let me show you a picture of her real quick, okay? And...
Please don't break my tablet. Oh, she's gorgeous.
Right?
Wait, is that like a photograph?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, honestly,
I thought it was like abandoned in the 1720s.
You know, I Googled her, and that is the picture that came up every time.
Okay.
So maybe that's... Do you think I got by Google again? Did they not have photography in 1720?
No.
Ooh, I got again, guys. But we're still going to show you the picture.
I mean, it's gorgeous. She's beautiful.
A very, very beautiful Indian woman.
Yeah.
But I'll show you guys this picture.
That could be... It could be a Princess Ratnavati. But not this one. So, okay, maybe you didn't get got.
It was definitely a Princess Ratnavati. And y'all can Google it. I'm not playing, okay? Go to good old Google and look at the picture, because I'm not playing. That picture is...
I trust you. I trust you. I just was like, wait, did I miss something here?
No, I just got by Google again. Damn. Not again, guys. The internet got me.
Here, I'll pull it up.
Okay, while I continue to tell this story. So, a wizard who practiced dark magic ended up falling in love with Princess Ratnavati, and he would watch her from afar. One day, Princess Ratnavati was out shopping with her friends, and she was going to buy a perfume she liked. Now, the wizard was watching and secretly replaced that perfume she bought with a love potion.
Oh, fucker.
So...
Don't do that.
Right.
Men, do not do that. That is why women, and personally me, would prefer to meet a bear.
Period. So, she buys the perfume and leaves the store, and then the wizard catches up to her, and he comes up to her and he's like, you should try that scent that you just bought. I want to smell it. And the princess is automatically, she's on guard. She's like, okay, what's going on? What's going down? Okay, this weird man wants me to spray this perfume on me. She reluctantly agrees, but before she sprays it on herself, she gives it a quick sniff and realizes that's not the perfume she bought, okay? And this makes her angry, and she throws that love potion at a nearby boulder, and that causes the boulder to roll and crush the wizard.
Good.
And as the wizard was being crushed, he said that he would put a curse on the land and that it would be destroyed because he was being crushed and killed by the princess.
But I think he kind of deserved it.
I think he did too.
I mean, he was like, that was kidnappy.
It was really weird. Like, honestly, it was, should I say?
It was.
You know what? I won't say that on the pod.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Try this.
Exactly. It's very much slipping something in someone's drink so they fall in love with you. It's spooky.
It's very Roofy-esque.
So, later, after he put this curse on the town, the fort was later invaded by Mongol forces, and everyone in the fort, including the princess, was killed because of this curse and being invaded. So that is the second story as to why this fort was cursed. So after all this, the curse remains and ensures anyone who dies in the fort will not be able to reincarnate. So their soul will be stuck there forever.
Oh, shit.
And it's also said that anyone who stays in the night, like stays overnight in the fort, will not make it to the daytime. They're gonna die.
Ew. No, because isn't reincarnation hugely important in Hindu religion?
That's how they ascend, because you reincarnate, you start
until
out...
you reach is it nirvana?
I think it is nirvana, yeah.
Or like perfection, and then you can go to like the afterlife. But oh my god, like you're just stuck here as a ghost?
Yeah.
That
and you're stuck wandering the fort too? Like,
I don't know, but I mean, like, I could imagine that being a form of hell.
Honestly, it probably would be their version of hell. Could you imagine, like, having to just wander, or maybe even, like, purgatory?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Oh my god, like, that's awful.
Yeah.
All because this guy tried to roofie her.
Exactly.
And it bit him on the ass.
That's what I'm saying. The entitlement. It's very, if I can't have you, no one can, and I'm going to ruin everyone else and make it a bad time for everyone else because of this. But also, can we talk about how, because this love potion had to not be very big, because if it's perfume, it's probably in a small bottle.
Yeah.
Like, how dramatic it is. She just throws the perfume bottle at the boulder, and that causes this huge boulder to roll and crush the wizard.
Well, because it was a love potion, she threw it at the boulder, and the boulder fell in love with the wizard. And so it moved itself.
That's quite the take.
And it inadvertently crushed him.
That's quite the take. I never thought of that. I like that.
I'm just literally spitting this out of my, like, pulling this out of my ass.
The boulder fell in love with the wizard. I like that. I'm gonna keep
I mean, it's a story.
Right. It's folklore. Will it turn into Evermore?
So far, I like the story of Baba the Holy Man.
Baba the Holy Man. That wasn't interesting. I think I like the story of the princess more.
I mean, the story of the princess is beautiful, but like the whole... I don't know. Maybe like she was a princess. Like maybe she had guards, and she threw it, and the guards rolled the rock on him, or like they tortured the wizard.
Maybe.
But I don't. I mean, unless that boulder was like teetering, and this force just happened to be the thing that got it.
Hey, I mean, science. Anything could happen, really. Now, another part of the curse is that they can't build anything more than 4 stories tall in the fort, or it'll fall down. And you can see that to this day. There's nothing higher than 4 stories at the fort today.
Oh, Sarah Winchester would hate it there.
Right?
Her 7-story tower that she had built 16 times.
Right, and I guess that kind of goes back to the Holy Man's curse.
Yeah.
Where they couldn't build it too tall. All right. So, let's talk about a group of 5 friends who decided to stay the night in the fort.
Uh-oh. Are they still there?
No.
Oh.
So, they drove to the fort as it was getting dark, and it was noted along the way to the fort they did see some dead cats along the road, and that was the only thing they really noted going to the fort, but I guess the dead cats really struck a chord with them because they noted seeing those dead cats and they noted that spooking them out. Now, when they got there, they bribed the officer that was watching watching the fort and like guarding it with alcohol they had bought to let them stay overnight. So, of course, the officer agreed and let them stay the night.
If I'm guarding somewhere haunted, it's going to take a lot more than alcohol to get me to, like, let you stay overnight.
See, that's where you and I differ. You pop up on with a margarita? Oh, honey, we're going in the fort. We're having a party.
No, like, you want me to stay in this cursed fort overnight where, like, I'm not going to make it out and my soul's going to be doomed to roam it for the rest of eternity? No. Come on. Money. Cash on the dime.
But the margarita? Get into that. I would do it for a margarita. Okay, y'all want to stay here and endanger yourself?
Paul, if anyone gives you 1 margarita, you're going to open your legs.
Right, and if you give me 2 margaritas...
You're going to give someone some head.
Exactly. I'm glad you know.
I do know.
Period. Okay. So, the guard let them stay in a room that was above one of the temples, right? So, it got to 6 o'clock, it got dark, and the guard locked the gate to the fort and came up to where they were staying in the temple. And the group asked him why he had come to the temple room and locked the gate. Well, the guard told them that there were supernatural forces outside and that he would hear his wife's voice calling out to him at night to unlock the gate. So he would stay in the temple and ignore the voices until morning.
Oh.
And what if it was actually his wife just coming to visit him every night? Playing a prank. Could you imagine?
I don't think she was playing a prank, like maybe like, I have your dinner, but like also I don't think she would. Like,
you better open this damn gate!
Not that. Is that how your wife talks to you?
Yeah.
Is that how you talk to your husband?
Yep. Oh my god. Could you imagine?
You talk to your husband with that mouth?
That's not the only thing I do with that mouth. Ooh! Okay, so after hearing this, the guys obviously got scared and decided to lock themselves in this room and said they were going to stay in that one room the entire night and not leave the room. And they locked the guard outside of the room. I guess they didn't trust the guard for whatever reason. They locked him outside of the room.
That's shady.
Hey, they gave him his drinks. They locked him outside of the room. Maybe they thought he would have been a not fun drunk. Who knows? But either way. So eventually they started hearing something outside. And then they realized it was something tapping on the window of their car. And the tapping eventually got louder and louder. And then they started hearing more noises outside. Now, the boys obviously got freaked out and started to call the guard for help. But the guard did not come. Then, they heard the voice of the guard screaming for help because someone was trying to take him away. One of the boys went to go help the guard, and they found him passed out drunk on the floor. So it wasn't the voice of the guard they heard calling out for help. They had been tricked by the spirit.
That's demonic.
It is demonic, right?
Yeah, demons do that.
It's spooky. And when the guy realized what had happened, he was like frozen in fear, and one of his friends had to like come get him and like pull him back into the room because he was just like so scared. He was just like frozen, right? So all through the night, they continued hearing these voices, these noises, all those things. And like when I was actually reading the story, like one of them was saying it was he heard the voice of like his dead grandmother, and the other was like hearing the voice of his mom, and like definitely just like the ghost like trying anything to like
That's demonic.
get these boys
I
out
don't
of
like
that
that.
room.
Mm-mm.
And this continued until it was 6 a.m. and one of the groundskeepers came to do their chores. So as soon as they heard the groundskeeper, they were out of there. And trust and believe they never returned to that fort after this. Now, most of the stories of the fort include mainly the strange noises. There's another story, it's basically the same story along these lines. A group of friends go to try to stay the night in a fort, but this time the officer didn't let them in, so they try to sneak around it. And then, like, they start hearing all the noises and all the crazy shit, and they bolt back to their car. And, like, the most notable thing about that story is they had bought some sweets with them to enjoy, like, while they were around the fort and whatnot. And I guess the sweets were wrapped up in this tin. And when they had opened the tin,
It was empty.
no, the sweets were all crushed. Like someone had like come in and like tried to like mash up the sweets, but it was in this tin, so like no one would have been able to do that. Like, I guess what I'm getting at is they wouldn't have been able to like crush it itself because it was a protective tin. So it's like the ghost like smashed up all their sweets.
I don't like it.
Now, are you ready to hear more spooky tales about the fort?
Sure.
Well, that's too damn bad, because there are no more.
What? Then why are we doing this? I thought this was the most haunted place in India.
And let's get into it.
Okay.
Wake up, sheeple. It's time to wake up. Let's get into this. So, let's start off. The people didn't leave this place because of a curse. It was either due to economic impact on the property and people moving to a new fort or a town that was more prosperous. Also, there was a famine, and there's other speculation that there might have also been a drought that dried up their water sources that caused people to leave the fort. So it was a combination of like famine, water, and economic impact on the fort. It was not due to a curse that people decided to leave this fort. Now, let's talk about let's talk about Siddharth Bartfall of the Indian Paranormal Society. He and his team actually got to spend the night there. They got permission to spend the night there. They had all of their equipment and everything. And he is quoted saying that there was nothing out of the ordinary at this fort when they were doing their investigation. And I'm pretty sure they're still like the only paranormal group that had permission and had been able to investigate this fort. Do you have something to say? Okay. So, secondly, this area is very dark because of the surrounding forest, and obviously it's an abandoned building. So, like, it's very dark inside, it's very cave-like inside because there's no electricity. So, this place is actually said to be infested by bats as well. And
Makes
if
sense.
you know bats, they make some strange noises.
Yeah.
And there is it's in a forest, so there is a lot of wildlife around this fort. There's tigers, there's monkeys, there's panthers. There's all sorts of things around this fort that could make...
Snakes, elephants.
Exactly. There's all sorts of things around this fort that could make strange noises in the night, right? And I know you guys think I am slacking for only having one personal account of this story.
Yes.
Like I said. Because there are no more, okay? Even this one, the one I read, I had to get off fucking Qdoba or some shit. No, it's called Quora. Qdoba's the Mexican restaurant. Sorry, I got Mexican on the brain. But...
we can get Mexican later.
Period. Get into that. But, yeah, people aren't allowed to stay in the fort overnight. Most of the things that people say is they hear noises.
Yeah.
There's, like, 0 personal accounts. And the Indian Paranormal Society, they're the only ones who were allowed to investigate, and they didn't find anything. This fort, really, people say it's the most haunted fort in India, and I have come to find that this is most likely not the case. I imagine there are a lot more haunted forts in India with a lot more haunted things happening to people, that it's a lot more well documented. I think the fort can be chalked up to folklore and hype. What do you think?
Is this my camera?
That is your camera.
Did you really just pull a me on me?
Oh, yeah, I did.
I hate it here.
See, I was expecting, because people say this is the most haunted place in India. I was expecting to get ghost stories, accounts, murder.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
I'm really disappointed.
Right, I was too. I was so excited to, like, research this and see, like, what the Indian ghosts are doing.
You literally Winchester mystery housed me.
I did. Taste of your own medicine.
I
But not love potion. Don't worry. I'm not giving you a little love potion. Yeah, it was kind of disappointing. But, you know, the folklore stories, they're fun. Like, the wizards and everything.
The folklore stories are fun, but it's... I don't know. I just feel kind of, like, empty now.
Yeah, I was excited to learn more about, like, what Indian ghosts were like and, like, how they tell stories of their ghosts over there versus how we tell stories in our culture. So I was looking forward to that. So I was disappointed that there were not more ghost stories.
But I mean, it could be, like we were talking about with the reincarnation, their life after death is much more complex than the Western idea where it's very cut and dry. You either die and go to an afterlife, whether that's heaven or hell, or you're a ghost. So...
Right, theirs is more complicated.
There's more... You're reincarnating and, like...
You move up and down the chain and try and reach nirvana. Oh, that jazz.
Exactly. So, I mean, that could definitely be why there's not more ghost stories.
Oh, because they don't believe in ghosts like we do.
Yeah, it's more complex than that in their beliefs. But, like, not even, like, some spirits or demons?
No. I mean, y'all do your research, too. If y'all can find something I didn't find, hit it down below. Comment it down below. But I looked at a lot of different... I looked at India's tourism board. There was this... So, the person who recommended this episode, shout out Sunny, actually sent me a few links because he's actually Indian. So, like, he gave me the insider scoop a little bit. And even those websites from the insider scoop, I think one was, like, the Hindu.com. Like, even those...
The Hindustani Times. It's a newspaper.
Yeah, exactly. Like, even that, it was just, like, very dry. A lot of it is centered around the folklore and hearing the voices and all that jazz.
And that's the only story you could find. Jeez.
I know, right? Now, DJ, I do have a question for you. Smash or pass? Princess Ratnavati.
I'll smash.
I think I'm gonna smash too. She was gorgeous. She was pretty.
Gorgeous. She knew her mind. She didn't take no shit.
A strong, independent woman. We
now,
stand.
If you ask me smash or pass, Bhangarh Fort, I'm gonna pass. I'm really disappointed.
I can tell you're disappointed. You're not talking as much as you usually do.
I was disappointed at the end of Winchester. But I mean, like, not only was there, like, the folklore, but, like, there was, like, stories to go with it.
Right.
And this is just, like, here's the folklore, and here's one story, and I'm just like, what's the hype?
Right.
Like...
I guess this is one case of folklore that doesn't lead to evermore.
You know... Bhangarh Fort, if you're watching this, you need to hire us to be your publicists.
Right, girl.
We'll find some ghost stories. We'll find ghosts.
Yeah.
I mean, we won't make them.
But like, we're not gonna
we'll
fake
find them.
it.
We'll bring them.
Yeah, we only fake it in the bedroom, right? So we're not gonna fake it in the paranormal field when we're out and about.
You said you weren't gonna tell anyone.
Oh my god, shut up. Stupid. Well, DJ, do you have anything you want to add about the Bhangarh Fort?
Yes.
Okay, bring it on me.
That's it. That's how I feel.
Mood, yeah. I don't know. I enjoyed researching all the folklore.
I mean, it was a wonderful story. You did a great job. It's just kind of like... I don't know that hype of, like, this is the most haunted place in India.
And then it kind of just leaves you, like... dry.
And, like, even if they were made up stories, like, I'm surprised, like, there aren't, like, as part of the folklore, like, oh, yeah, there was a guy, and, like, a guard let him in, and the guard came the next morning, and all they found was, like, a shoe.
Right. there probably are stories like that, but it's probably more like local legends, like
Yeah,
locals talking about
and you know,
it.
we're at a disadvantage because we don't speak the local languages, and there's
Right.
probably a lot of sources in those local languages that we don't speak.
Exactly.
Maybe we'll have to do a follow-up after like talking to
Yes.
Sunny and seeing like if he can like find something and translate it for us.
Very that, very that. So maybe there will be a Bhangarh Fort Part 2. And honestly, make me eat my words. If you find stories, comment it down below. Text us, email us, you know? All that shit's down below. Let us know. Make me eat my words if you find shit about the Bhangarh Fort.
Make him eat some crow.
Yes, make me eat some crow. Get into that. Which crow might not taste too bad, but also I feel like if you ate a crow, you'd be cursed. I feel like that's one of the things, like, you can't tell me if you ate a crow, you're not going to be cursed. The
Maybe.
crows are the spookiest of the birds.
No. Ravens.
Oh shit! I always forget those are two different things.
Yeah.
I always think they're like the same
Ravens
bird.
Ravens have the black beak and the black legs. Crows have yellow beaks and yellow legs.
I feel like if you eat either of them, you're cursed. No, if you eat the raven, then you're cursed by Edgar Allan Poe, and he's gonna sneak into your bedroom at night and start reading you some of his stories.
When I was in high school and we did Edgar Allan Poe, my English teacher rapped the raven. He turned it into a rap.
That sounds crazy.
Well, it's a poem, and like once you get a beat, I'll do that as a bonus for Halloween on the OnlyFans.
Okay. All right, you do that. You do that.
Where
And
I'll get a beat. I mean, you just get a beat, and it's like, oh,
I think
I can't remember how it starts. Shit.
I'm sure you're gonna make Edgar Allan Poe proud with that rap.
On a midnight jury when I was shit.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna move on. So, DJ, why don't you take us out with our socials?
Absolutely. Please text us your thoughts if you are as disappointed as I am, or if you would like to prove Paul wrong and say, Paul, you ignorant slut, you didn't do enough research. Please text us. If you're watching this on YouTube, just go on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and click in our link where it says text us. We can read that, or if you want to interact with us a little more, you can email us at cripsandcorks@gmail.com. You can also share your personal stories or episode suggestions. Please follow us on all of our socials on Facebook and on Twitter at Crips and Corks, or on TikTok and Instagram at Crips and Corks Pod. You can also share with us story suggestions or thoughts there, but please, guys, only send your personal stories to the email address so that we have them all in one place. Paul, where can they find you?
You can find me on my personal TikTok and Instagram at Paul Ember, Paulember. And as usual, guys, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
And if you would like to follow me, you can follow me on TikTok or on Instagram at The Real Deej Powers. If you'd like to send me a love letter, you can do so at not the Bhangarh Fort. I don't know where you can send it, but not there, because I'm not going to go there.
I forgot to say, I was going to talk about this awesome Indian restaurant in Pittsburgh.
What's it called?
It's called the Prince of India. It's so good. They give you huge portions.
Oh, maybe we'll go there tonight.
Yes, it's so good.
Okay.
Honestly, guys, go out there and try the Prince of India restaurant in Pittsburgh.
Okay,
It's
if
great.
you'd like to write me a love letter, please send it to Prince of India, because I'll probably be there having dinner.
And get into that.
And that's all she wrote. So until next time, guys, come back. Next week won't be as disappointing. And remember to keep your grips tight.
And your corks loose. Bye!
I don't blame you, Paul. I'm not upset. I'm just disappointed.
Just don't hit me again. Last time I bled for 4 days.